Okay, so this is a video tutorial about how to write IELTS Task 1 for ENL 125 English for Global Exploration. So let's go through this real quick. All right. So when you guys take the IELTS essay, you're gonna have two tasks: task 1, task 2. So this is gonna cover task 1. Okay. So what this is, you'll have about for the whole writing part, you have 1 hour to finish, and so generally for task 1, you want to spend roughly about 20 minutes on this. Okay, and then you want to make sure you write at least 250 words. Okay, so for the 5 basic steps here, understand the marking criteria. Okay, so remember that for IELTS test, they're going to look at different areas. So they're going to look at your grammar, vocabulary, coherence, cohesion, and task completion. Okay, next is paraphrase the question. Okay, so what you want to do is, for example, you're going to get a title, and so what in the text of your description in your writing task 1 part is you want to paraphrase that title. Next, write the overview. So basically, what you want to do is in 150 words or more, you want to summarize the information that's listed that you see in either it's going to be in a table, bar chart, or flow chart, something like that. And then support overall overview and detail. Okay, so biggest part are the numbers. Make sure you want to paraphrase the numbers and also the overall information that's displayed to you. And again, that's going to be either like a bar chart, a table, diagram, any sort of visual aid that you're going to have to summarize. All right. And lastly, check your work. Okay, so you want to write again. This is a summary of a visual aid that you're given, and then you want to write a summary in 150 words or more. And once you're finished, make sure you check your work. So make sure you very common to either misspell a word or use incorrect grammar. So you want to make sure you do that. Okay. All right, so let's look here. Task achievement. Okay, the first criteria. So this refers to ability to answer the question properly. In order to do this, you have to do all the components the question asked, and to do and write a clear and well-developed answer. Okay, so they're going to ask you to summarize the information in the visual aid, and make sure you do that. Okay. Next is coherence. So coherence, this refers to the ability to connect your main ideas together so that they make sense and are easy to understand. Cohesion refers to the connection of ideas at sentence and paragraph level. So basically, this just means that make sure everything you write it's connected together. Okay, you do not want to list anything that doesn't belong. So no additional information. And just make sure everything you write is connected with other parts of your essay or paragraphs. Lexical cohesion. So lexical, this is just a fancy word for vocabulary. Okay, so it refers to the ability to use vocabulary both accurately and appropriately. So you want to make sure you use formal English. So no informal like hey you or what's up. Nothing like that. Okay, so make sure you use formal English. Try not to use contractions so much. Okay, instead of saying it's, say it is. Okay, and then also try to use more academic words. Okay, so try even if you're not intelligent, try to sound that way. But I'm sure all of you are very intelligent. But yeah, try to make your writing more academic sounding. And last but not least, grammatical range and accuracy. So this refers to your ability to write sentences with no mistakes and also use a range of grammatical structures. So we don't expect you to be perfect. I make grammar mistakes too, sometimes. Yeah, do you want to limit those? Okay, so again, when you finish writing, check for grammar mistakes. Okay, all right, so let's keep going here. And paraphrasing. Okay, so paraphrase the question. Okay, so this refers to rewriting phrases or sentences so that it has different words but keeps the same meaning. We can do this in a number of different ways, but the simplest way is to use synonyms. Okay, so yeah. For example, you get the title. You get the title of your visual aid. Try to summarize that as best you can by using synonyms. So, for example, the word hot, synonym for hot is warm. Okay. The word cold, um, cold would be synonym might be freezing. Okay, so use synonyms to paraphrase your work. So you want to what you don't want to do is you don't want to copy it word for word, but what you want to do is you want to use the same ideas. So and how we do that is by using synonyms. Okay, and so you don't want to plagiarize something, but what we can do is you want to paraphrase it using synonyms. Alright, so here's some more examples. So the chart below shows the changes in 3 different areas of crime in Manchester City from this date. Okay, so you can say that the line graph displays alterations for burglary, car theft, and robbery in the center of Manchester between these dates. Okay, and so which synonyms were used in the paraphrase question? So you look here, you can say here is the chart, then you can change it to line graph. Okay, and then you can say from, paraphrase from is between, okay, and crime, paraphrase that to, you can be more specific, burglary, car theft, and robbery. So many different ways that you can paraphrase here. All right. Okay. Overview of importance. So critical for a high score, essential to writing a good one. Okay. Question format. So always requires summarizing main features and making relevant comparisons. Okay, so make sure you do that. You'll focus on the important details. Leave out the details that are not so important. Okay. And so what you want to do is you want to provide a brief summary by selecting 3 to 4 key features in general form, so no detailed data needed. Okay, so yeah, but basically what you want to do is you want to focus on the important details and leave out the details that are not so important. Okay, all right, and focus on 3 significant points, only to avoid overwhelming details. So again, not too many details. You just want to focus on the top. You guys choose what you think are the top three to 4 points. Focus on those and summarize those and paraphrase them by using synonyms. And so imagine being asked to mention only 3 key things about the graph. This narrows focus and highlights main points effectively. Okay, so again, just you choose what you think are the 3 to 4 most important aspects of it and focus on those. Okay, and again, leave out details that are not so important. All right, so write an overview. Okay, so what 3 significant points can be taken from both the following visual aids? So you want to look here. Okay, so this is an example of a visual aid that you may be given. Okay, so let's look at the first one here. Okay, obviously number 1, electric vehicles, so EV. Okay, so you maybe just focus on the top, what you think are the top 3 most important things. Okay, and then just say from, again, it looks like it goes from 2010 to 2020. So you don't really need to focus on each year. Just maybe focus on this decade from 2010 to 2020. So maybe you don't need to mention maybe 2016 so much. Just mention the overall. Okay, for that decade. Next, so this is a diagram. So what this is showing, it's a diagram that shows recycling processes of aluminum cans. So again, you don't need to focus on so you need to write 150 words. Okay, so you don't need to focus on, it looks like we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 steps. Okay, so obviously you don't need to focus on all 7 of them. So maybe focus on what you think are the 3 most important steps and go from there. All right. Okay. All right. So this is an example of what you should write. Okay. So again, the most important thing, focus on 3 to 4 details, and you have to write 150 words. And probably the most important thing, do it in 20 minutes. Okay. Because the most important thing is task 2, which we'll discuss in next week's video. You'll need to spend about 40 minutes on that. So overall, you have 1 hour to complete both task 1, task 2. So task 1, 20 minutes, task 2, 40 minutes. So you want to try to get this done as quickly and as efficiently as you can. Okay, so let me read this here. So the table represents data on the top 5 US exports in 2021, listing their values in billions of US dollars and their annual percentage change from 2020. So like what we did here, it covers from 2021 and so this decade. Okay, so again, you don't want to focus on every single year, but what you want to do is focus on the main details. So overall, electric vehicles were the highest valid export, while petroleum showed the most significant decline in percentage terms. The bar chart indicates a general downward trend in the proportion of U.S. exports directed to the UK over the 10-year span. So again, focus on the decade, not each year. So regarding the table, electric vehicles ranked first, generated 28 billion in exports despite a sharp 40% decrease from the previous year. Jets and gold followed closely, contributing 20.5 billion and 20.1 billion respectively, both of which also contributed substantially or substantial drops of 25% and 10%. In contrast, medication valued at $19.1 billion recorded a modest increase of 1.5%. Petroleum, ranked fifth, accounted for $17 billion, with a notable decline of 32%. The bar chart reveals that in 2010, over 60% of U.S. exports were sent to the UK. However, this proportion steadily decreased to slightly below 40% by 2020, reflecting a consistent decline throughout the decade. So again, see what we did here is you focused not on every single thing, but focus on the time span, the decade. Me personally, what you want to do is you want to spend as least amount of time on this as possible in order to complete it sufficiently. So again, try not to spend any more than 20 minutes on this. All right? Okay. Okay, so lastly, check your work. Okay, so number one, check spelling and punctuation. Check verb tenses. Are they correct tenses? So I actually do this all the time because when I'm typing, when I'm thinking, I think a lot faster than I type, and I got fat fingers here. So even though I'm a native English speaker, I still make when I'm typing and when I'm thinking, they go at different speeds. So again, when you're finished, make sure your verb tenses are correct. Check accuracy of the data used. So again, this is the same thing I do in my mind. Even when I'm speaking now, I'm trying to get this video done, but what I'm thinking and what I'm saying is at different speeds. So again, at the end, check your work. Check vocabulary. Is there any repetition we could remove from with synonyms? So yeah. So what you want to do is you don't want to use like one word too many times, because if you start repeating them, then the listeners, they're going to start counting how many times you say that word. So yeah, be liberal with synonyms. All right. Check your paraphrasing. So make sure it's correct. Make sure what the original document said. Make sure it aligns with what you're saying. And last but not least, make sure you write at least 150 words. Because if you write under 150 words, you will be deducted for that. All right. Okay, so this is an example of this. So for example, writing homework 1. So you get this here. So it's the integration problems for people living abroad. So you look at this chart, and you want to summarize this information. Okay, so what this will be, this will be the homework for today. So this first homework, it's going to be worth 5% of your grade. So you get 5 points for this. Okay, and this will be due next week. All right, so that's it. And if you have any questions, you can ask me now. But if you do have any questions, you can either ask your teacher, or I'm going to stick this on YouTube, and then you can post them in the comment section below, and I'll try to answer them. All right. Okay, so it looks like we're finished for this week, and yeah, I'll see you guys next week. All right, bye bye.